your exposure settings. Most cameras that I've ever seen work like this. It allows you to do what's called aperture priority, or words thereabout, but it's the same principle, where you set the aperture, you select the aperture that you want. You may want a shallow depth of field or a deep depth of field. You select the aperture that you want, and then the camera will select the shutter speed for you, but it will be a balanced photo. It'll take into consideration the ISO. The next one is automatic shutter speed. So your camera will have that, where you can select the shutter speed, and then you'll allow the camera to take its own choice of what aperture should be used. The one after that is where it's a program, where it's full automatic, and the camera will decide everything. Then there's another one that most cameras have, which is auto ISO. You've chosen the aperture, you've chosen the shutter speed, and the camera will determine the ISO accordingly. And then the final one is manual. Manual, you're doing it all on your own. You can shoot manual with auto ISO. Full manual to me is turn everything off automatic. We want to shoot straight manual. So they're the settings, and play with these settings. So even though I'm a full-time professional photographer, rarely, but I do shoot in aperture priority or speed priority or auto ISO. I do this rarely, but I do use these settings. And I'll give you an example. If you're in a church and the church is quite dark and there's a wedding on and you're taking photos and you're following the bride and groom and you know it's a summer's day outside and you're about to walk outside, my fingers won't be quick enough to make the adjustments for outside settings, especially if the bride is in a white dress in sunlight. So what I'll do is I'll allow my camera to take control until I can gather my thoughts, because I'm too busy paying attention to the bride and the composition. I need to gather my thoughts and then think, right, now I can change it to manual again, and now I'm in outside settings. So I'll quickly go to, let's say, aperture priority. I'll choose an aperture of, let's say, 8. I'll let the camera run with what it wants to do, or you can go into shutter priority, where you pick a shutter speed of, let's say, 250th of a second, and then let the camera do everything else until I can get my act together, and then I can quickly change my dials and go back to manual. So do I use it? Yes, I do. Is it handy? Yes, it is. But the whole idea is use that as a tool, just don't use it as a crutch. Don't use it all the time hobbling around using automatic. Shoot manually as much as you possibly can and create your own work, because then when you go down that road of shooting manually, you'll find your world of photography will open up.